let's switch gears. I want to talk for a second a little more on the NIL situation. So Khalifa Keith, that's a running back that Kentucky had a commitment from for a long time. He's a 3-star, but he's a dude who was kind of rising up the charts. He was a guy I think Kentucky was very excited to get. He decommitted last night, and I think a lot of people believe he's going to go to Tennessee. He's also looking at South Carolina, but I think there's a good chance we're going to be playing against him at Tennessee. Now, Kentucky's going to be okay at running back. They got 2 other guys that they likely get a commitment from 2 guys. One of them's a dude who was originally committed to Georgia Tech, who's probably going to end up coming here. And then there's another one that I think we're battling with Michigan and Michigan State for, and they think they'll probably get him too. So this is not so much about this particular kid. Remember, I mean, years ago we wanted Damian Harris. We didn't get him. We got Benny Snell, and it ended up being fine, right? And, you know, we had the kid earlier this year from Hoptown that went to Tennessee, and we ended up going and we're going to get a commitment from the probably a kid that was committed to Cincinnati that we flipped. So it's not so much about the individual kid, but it's more just about this whole NIL situation. Now, when I started talking about it last week, when I say my phone has blown up with people wanting to discuss it, it's the truth. And I've heard from all ends. All right, I've heard from people around the football program. And you all, this is just the facts. The folks around the football program, they can't say it, but Ryan, they're cheering me on.
Yeah,
I mean, they just are.
They want you
because
to
I'm
push
saying exactly what most of them, if not all of them, feel, which is we got to move. Second, I'm hearing from a lot of boosters that want to give money and literally don't know what to do. And in some situations have gone to the school and asked, what should we do? And are told nothing or told don't. They used to be told don't give it. Now they're not told don't, but they're kind of just told, well, we'll wait. Let's wait and see how this plays out. These are people who have checks ready to give that don't know where to give. And then there are people who are giving NIL deals who've complained. And I want to read, this was a post on a message board. This is from a poster who goes by Brady James. Now, I think he's going to be fine with me saying this because he said it on a public board, so I would assume he's cool with it. But he owns a collectible thing. Ryan, it's a collectible place that Will Levis has been doing endorsements for.
Oh,
okay?
like a baseball card.
This is what
stuff?
He posted a few days ago. JMI wants me to pay $125,000 to them so I can use the Kentucky logos on pictures of the players. They could help these players because the pictures will be worth more if they're wearing a Kentucky uniform, but JMI wants me to pay $125,000. He then says that basically that doesn't make sense for him to do, and so it hurts him because he basically can't give the players big deals because they won't be worth it without the uniform, and JMI is saying pay to use the uniform. I've been over backwards to try and get these players opportunities the right way. There is always some roadblock. I love UK football too much, and even I am exhausted trying to help with NIL. And I read that situation because I think it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. There are schools out there that are going to their donors and saying, hey, donor, you give us $100,000. Give us 50 and give this collective 50 for players. Those are the ADs that are being proactive, and those are the ADs that are succeeding, like the guy at Tennessee. Mitch Barnhart is not only not doing that, I don't think he'll ever do that. It's just not in his nature. I think he should. I don't think he will. But the problem to me is not only are they not being aggressive, they are throwing roadblocks. This is a perfect example. This is a guy who wants to give players deals. He has given a number of players deals, and he wants to do more. But he knows that in order to sell those pictures and stuff, they kind of need to have the Kentucky jersey on. And Kentucky's saying, you got to pay us for that. Well, he can't afford to pay the player and the school. Now, what schools could do is say, since you're doing this for the player, we'll let you use the jersey for free or at a reduced price. That's what other schools are doing. UK doesn't do it. They basically are competing with their own players for money. And they are choosing themselves over the players. But here's the problem. If UK keeps doing that, the players aren't going to be worth anything because we're not winning, because we can't get these guys. And that is what's continually coming together. And it is having an effect on everyone. Now, I asked somebody last night who would know. Are we where, it was a simple question. Are we where we need to be? Here's what the answer was. No. We're better than we were in the summer. You remember when I ranted about this in the summer?
Yeah.
That things got connected enough to now where we have some things. But what I'm told are three major issues. One, organization. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. The school will not empower any particular private group to be the group. If you look at these other schools, they all have one or two collectives that they work with, and they send donors to them. We have a collective, but UK is not sending donors to them. And donors who don't know the collective don't even know who to give it to. There's no organization. And in my opinion, I think it's intentional because they want these donors to give the school money, not these collectives. So number one is organization. Number two is there's no proactive movement to connect players with businesses. You know, they have this little thing that you can, the BBN exchange, but how many people even know how to get to that? How many of you even know how to use it? How many of you ever even seen it advertised except at the game? The answer is you haven't. And if I don't know how to use it, and this is my job, I know the people running businesses don't know how to use it. And then number three, and this to me is the most egregious, active roadblocks being thrown out there to people trying to help these players by saying, pay the school first, pay your tab. That is cutting off your nose to spite your face. To UK and JMI, if you want your media deals to matter, we got to win. And if you keep doing stuff like this, we're not going to win because we're not going to be able to get players. It is so frustrating. And what's amazing is unanimous. Coaches, donors, and the collectives and businesses, all four are complaining. All four are being shut out, and we are going to lose players if we're not careful. And I'm going to comment on this. I'm not going to make anybody else do it. But there's some names to watch. Deion Walker, Barrion Brown, Dane King, Alex Afari, the Wade twins. There are people who will tell you we have more freshman talent right now than almost any team in the country. If any of those guys leave, any of them, this will be why. And you will know why it happened. It happened because we have an athletic department that will not do the basic things that are necessary to help us compete. And they have to. They're not as behind as they were in the summer, but they've hit a stop, and they got to change. I myself have been thinking, all right, I'm complaining. What can I do about it? And I'm trying to think if there's something I can do, but there are some things that I can't do for a variety of reasons. Also, I don't need to be any busier. But it needs to be the school that does this because there are people who want to help. I was talking to somebody yesterday who said they think, and I think this is right, there are thousands of fans that would pay $25 a month to a collective if they knew what it was going to. I agree. But somebody has to proactively set that stuff up, and the university has to bless it. Instead, they put in roadblocks. And so I would just say, Mitch Barnhart has a decision to make now. It's not in 3 or 4 months because these kids will decide whether to transfer in December and January. He's got to decide now. The reason I'm being urgent about this, it's now. Because the 2023 class, we already screwed up with NIL. That was because we were behind last summer. Right now, the coaches are trying to make sure 2024 is okay. I think it's going all right. But we lost 2023 because of their hesitation. That's why this class isn't as good. We will lose these players on the team if Mitch Barnhart and the athletic department don't get in gear. And if you don't believe me, just wait and see because it's going to happen. They got to decide, and people have to put pressure on them because they cannot be stuck in the mud anymore, or this elite group of talent that we are so fortunate to have, we will lose, and it'll be because of them.